Hello and welcome to this video on my experience with California Superbike School Level 1. So in this video I'm not going to cover the step-by-step day-to-day. There are a couple of great videos already on the internet on YouTube. You can follow username Kate or Lamb Chop Rides and they will cover a breakdown of Level 1 at Superbike School. For me, this is going to be more the setup that your bike has to be in, the clothes you're going to have to take, and predominantly what I'm going to get out of the day. After the day, am I feeling it's a fantastic course, or am I feeling, learned a couple of things, but not a lot. So who am I? At the time of recording this video, which is in 2025, my name is Dom. I am 45 years old and I've been riding motorbikes for just over 10 years. I take my riding seriously. I've done a lot of advanced courses, so I've done a couple of track days. I've done off-road as well as obviously the day riding. I ride all year round, rain or shine. I ride England, abroad. So you could say I know what I'm doing, but the truth is I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I always feel nervous, I always feel anxious, I always want to know how things work. That is why I always invest in advanced courses. Now, California Superbike School has always been on my radar. I know quite a few people who have been, and they, without a doubt, all of them say it's the best course they've ever done. So what do I expect to get out of California Superbike School? Myself, I would like to improve my cornering speed. I still do have lean angle barriers which I want to bring down. So I do want to go faster in corners and improve on my body position.
Here is a checklist of stuff I'll be taking, which is waterproof, so take a judgment call on your day. I've got just the tops here, bottoms usually hold up quite well. I've got some visor wash here, screen wash with a good microfiber. I'm being optimistic and packing some sunglasses. A vape here if you smoke or vape, don't forget to pack that along with you. And then here on my keys I've got my earplugs. Earplugs are a massive important thing to take with you on track. It does get really noisy. Of course it's me, so I'm going to plaster the whole place in stickers. Don't forget your driving license. You must have your driving license. You might get away with a copy on your phone, but do take it. If, like me, you suffer from hay fever, it's not bad to have a little pack with hay fever, some headache pills, eye drops, stuff like that. I will be taking my Insta360 and mounting it to my bike. No cameras are allowed on your helmet, but they are allowed on your bike with discretionary. But you must have a tether and it be tethered correctly to the bike. And then I'll also be taking my tyre pressure reader and a automatic pump. Do make sure, obviously, your electronics are charged.
Future Dom here. The tyre pump and pressure reader wasn't actually needed because California Superbike School actually have a mechanic on site. He's there to maintain the bikes that are on hire, but he will also look after your bike too should you have any problems. And one of my friends did have a problem with a warped disc and he had the calipers off, was looking at it. Unbelievable, really good. So you are in safe hands there with the mechanic on site. He will do what he can to keep you roadworthy, and at Bedford Autodrome there was also fuel there.
It must be a full gauntlet glove, so you see this goes up my wrist, as opposed to a short glove which is stopping here at my wrist. This would not be allowed on track. It's too short. It must be the full gauntlet length. Must take a full length race boot. So here is a waterproof boot. It is full length above your calf, so that complies. Alpine Stars Tech R, again above your calf, complies. Former air boot here, so this has all the ventilation in there for nice hot days. Again, it's above your calf, so it complies. This Falco aviator boot will not comply. It is, although above your ankle with ankle protection, it is not above your calf. You can see the height difference between the two, and so that is not going to comply, as will any motorcycle trainer. It doesn't need to be a sport boot like these, but it does need to be calf height. Because it's a track, you do need to have either a full-length one-piece leather race suit, or you could opt for a two-piece. Imagine the leather trousers here. With a two-piece, it must be connected with the long 360 zip that you'll see here. That's the long version, whereas a short one I think is about that long in the middle. So it must be the full length or a one piece. I always ride with a balaclava, keeps my hair out my face and clean, and obviously if it's cold I would advise a little snood like that to keep your neck warm, because that will get battered on the wind. When it comes to helmets, here is my X804, and this has what they are looking for, that little gold sticker there, but unfortunately it also has a center attached to it, and the clamp system that you got here, that will need to be removed to be allowed on track. You can have these little chin mounts on here. You can't obviously plug a camera in there, but you can still have the mount, because that would just break off in the event of a crash. But the center unit needs to be removed. Therefore, for me, I will be running my old 803 RS as it has no comms unit plugged in. So I'm being lazy and just taking that helmet. For visors, we all want to look cool, so a dark visor is completely allowed, but obviously you need to be able to see what you're doing, and if the weather is like you see out there, all cloudy, then I opted for the smoke visor as opposed to a clear, but you could run mirror, dark, it's completely your choice, but obviously you need to be able to see out of it. For the bike, usually on track you would remove your number plate and your back brake and everything else, but being California Superbike School, they understand that you will be riding there and you can go on track with a number plate. Next is a baffle. So here's my baffle that I will be fitting very soon, and baffle, bung, whatever you want to call it. This is to reduce the dB, the decibel of this exhaust system. All tracks have a noise limit. You need to check what the noise limit is for the day track that you're going to, and obviously your bike will need to comply. If it doesn't comply, then you're going to have to be going down the higher option. My bike has engine guards, it has frame sliders. These are not necessary to go on track, but obviously if you do have them on your bike, they will protect it in the event of a spill. That is essential now on all UK tracks is a brake lever guard. However, California Superbike School does have an exemption for a brake lever guard, providing you have this section on your levers, for which is the ball section. There is a ball there. You can see this has a hole sort of through the middle. This is, if this falls down, I mean these are even better because they slide up, but if this fell down it would break at this point. That's where it's designed to. So if you have a big ball on the end, that's what you need, because it will break off, and then you still have this little bit of the lever to be able to get you and your bike off track. But these are only about 20 quid if you get an R&G plastic one, and that means you're fully compliant, and they look quite cool. Mirrors on track, optional, don't need them. They actually scare the crap out of you when you see people flying up behind you. So what a lot of people do is when you're there, just tape them up rather than taking them off. But again, you could take them off. Your quad lock charging unit or other brand can stay on your bike, but your phone cannot be on there while you're going round on track. I would say is the most essential part of your motorbike maintenance before you go is make sure your battery is charged. I always plug my bike into a battery tender to make sure it's always in perfect working order, but do make sure your bike is charged. Last thing you want to do is power up in the morning and it won't start. It's just down to the basic maintenance checks of a bike just to make sure that it's roadworthy and of course trackworthy. So make sure that your tyres are on legal limits, make sure that your chain is adjusted and recently lubed, and of course that you've got a full tank of petrol. So you've gone through the checklist and you now have your bike at track, and hopefully you have your key, not to mention names, Nicky. So your bike is at track. It is an early start, 7 AM you need to be there. Why so early? Well, that is so you can sign on with California Superbike School and also the track itself, which is MSV in this case. MSV will need to do some checks on your bike, so make sure that everything is in working order and put tape over the mirrors, etc. if needs be. And then you would need to get your kit checked to make sure that it meets the safety standards and doesn't have holes, etc.
There's also the briefing from the racetrack itself to make sure you understand the flags, what they mean, etc. And then we're in the classroom for 9 o'clock. The timetable from here on will be pretty similar. It will be your session within the classroom, which is very much an open discussion. Once you're out on track, you will be putting into practice what you have learnt in the classroom, and then afterwards you are back into the classroom, or maybe a break, or maybe lunch, classroom, track, classroom, track. I'm not going to go into detail about the teachings from Cali Superbike School because I'm not a teacher. Also, I think it would benefit you learning yourself rather than me bastardizing what was taught on the day. But what I will say is the structure is so good. It's very clever in the way that it is taught, in that you start the day with having a lot of things taken away from you, brakes, gears, etc. And then throughout the day you get it reintroduced, but you also get more aids reintroduced. All of this enables from your first session of just pootling around the racetrack to the last session where everything just starts to gel together and you yourself will start to flow. If you're looking at this footage now and thinking, oh, that's fast, and thank you very much, but no, your pace is determined by you. There were people going around the track at well under half the speed that I was able to do, and there were people going at double the speed I was able to do. There's good spacing, there's good communication, there was no issues really with traffic and being able to implement what you teach. If anything, the traffic actually helped, because when you're on track, especially when, as you see here, my friend is in front of me and I want to catch him up and overtake him, that you then start to fall into pushing yourself a little bit more than the 70% that California Superbike School recommends. You should ride at 70% of your ability, and that is so you can put into practice the teachings, because obviously when I'm chasing my mate down, I'm not thinking about, you know, the two-step procedure, etc. So it is very good to slow you down, make you think about what's being taught, and most importantly, implement it. And sticking to that 70% of your ability is something you really must do, because obviously as you push yourself there is more chance of a crash. If you are bringing your own bike to track, it's worth noting that you are not insured unless you have a specific track day insurance. I myself went with BikeSure for the day. They will be able to offer you policies from £100 to £300-ish, depending on the value of your bike, your age, etc. If you don't want to risk your own bike on track, California Superbike School can hire you a bike, again ranging from prices of £300 plus. Now that was a long day. I've been up since 4:30 and it is 7 p.m. Just got back. It is 7 a.m. We had to be at California School to sign on and do all of that. But really, really worth it. I will cover what we did and everything else. But yeah, just wanted to say it is draining. I mean, it's hard on your body, but it is worth it.
So level 1 is over, and what do I think after completing the day? Fantastic day, brilliant people, so well organised. The school itself, absolutely fantastic. If you are a very novice rider, you can go around that track at your own pace. There were people going at a tenth of what some other people were going, but there was no issue. It was completely safe. So please, please do not use that as an excuse not to attend. Level 1, I thought, was absolutely tailor-made and fantastic for somebody who is very keen on doing a track day but is scared to do one. So somebody maybe who's done one track day, or especially somebody who's never done one and they're bricking themselves. Level 1 took you through the whole process, hand-holding you with what you need to do to get on track, as well as the lessons that they taught you, the techniques to get around the track faster. The guys I saw who'd had no track experience, from where they started in the morning to where they finished in the evening, was unbelievable, the transformation. So what would the course be like for people who've done track days? Well, for them, they would know a lot of already what's been taught. However, the way that it's taught in slowing you down, I think is absolutely brilliant, to make you think a little bit more, to hit your apexes better, to do less inputs into the bike, all stuff like that. It slows you right down, makes you think a little bit more. If you are somebody who's done 10 plus track days, then yes, you are going to think, okay, I'm quicker than this. But again, those people probably wouldn't know some of the lesson stuff being taught. And what's it like for someone of my advanced level who's done a little bit of track day? I wasn't taught anything new. I already knew everything that was taught to me on the day. However, being taught and implementing are two very different things. And the fact that California Superbike School has a track completely to itself makes all the difference. At other advanced schools, they will have ranging from as small as a little playground to a big car park. That still isn't a track. That isn't somewhere where you can do over 100 miles an hour. To have the racetrack and an instructor following you and giving you feedback is unparalleled. So yes, although I wasn't really taught anything new, the implementation of it I found a lot better. Am I faster at the end of the day than I was from the start of the day? Yes. Will it improve my road riding? Yes. Is it as massive as the people who haven't done it? No, but that is because I'm at a higher level and we're at level 1. So I'm sure when I move on to level 2 and level 3, that's when it's really going to kick in for somebody like me. And so you'll ask, at £500 a go, is it worth the money, especially when you're being taught something you already know? And the answer is yes. £500 for Bedford Autodrome, the prices vary at different tracks, but it is so worth the money. It is just the way it's taught, the environment that you're in. You know, if you're still sitting on the fence, subscribe to the channel because I will be going back for level 2 and I'm sure I will be progressing to level 3 and 4. So you can see how my journey is coming along and at what level you think it is. You cannot skip levels. So California Superbike School has had MotoGP riders, British Superbike, World Superbike. They've all been and gone and they all have to start with level 1. You might be at level 3, which is the body positioning side. However, they will not let you go there unless you've done level 1 and 2. So everybody at the school is absolutely fantastic. They are really good at what they do and very nice people. But I've got to give a special shout out to Izzy, who was my coach for the day. Thank you for keeping me safe, Izzy. You were absolutely brilliant. Your feedback was great. And also to Jane. Jane is the matriarch who keeps everything in order, shouts at you to be at somewhere, tells you you've got cold tyres before you're going out. Jane's also the lady on email. Jane, you're brilliant. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody at California Superbike School. It was an amazing day and I am so looking forward to coming back for level 2. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was useful. Please subscribe and follow my journey with the rest of the levels at California Superbike School. And I'll catch you on the next video.